Hello and welcome back. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you about smart objects because somebody has asked me, so thank you for that request. Right, smart objects, why do I use them? I have got three main reasons why I would use a smart object. So let me show you. First of all, let's duplicate this original layer with Command or Control J so we're not ever changing or damaging or losing this original image, and then turn it off. Okay, so number one reason for using a smart object is to protect it when you're using these filters here. So let me just show you what happens if we don't use a smart object. So let's say blur, Gaussian blur. It's got loads of blur on it. Let's just say okay. So as you can see, what I've done is changed the pixels of the layer. So at this stage, because we've just done it, if we thought, oh my goodness, I didn't want to do that, you could use Command or Control J to step back. I'll show you just like that. But otherwise, later on, half an hour down the line of editing, you have got no way of getting back to that. Sorry, let me just put this filter back on. Blur, Gaussian blur. Okay. It's baked in. So let's just leave that one there. So we'll call this our baked in copy. And let's duplicate the original again. We'll turn that one off, turn off the baked in copy, turn off the original as well. So here we have our second copy. This time I'm going to right click and say convert to a smart object. Now, in case you're wondering, convert to a smart object is exactly the same as saying filter, convert to smart filters. Mine is grayed out because it's a smart object, but let me just show you. Let's turn this off. So how do you turn off a smart object? You right click again and say rasterize the layer. This time, let's say filter, convert for smart filters. And all it's saying to you is if you want to enable this, so it's a smart filter, so the selected layer is protected, it will be converted to a smart object. So it is exactly the same thing. So Photoshop has now done it for us. It's converted this layer into a smart object again. So exactly the same thing. I know it's confusing. As you probably know with Photoshop, there are lots of ways to do exactly the same thing. So let's do that Gaussian blur again. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Exactly the same. It's still at the same pixels. Let's hit OK. So as you can see, this time, we have now got a filter with it. So if you turn the eyeball off, nothing's changed. It's just like taking sunglasses off. Underneath, the world looks exactly the same. It's temporary. So rather than our baked in copy on the top here, where we've changed the pixels, with our smart object in false, we have a smart filter and we can change this. So if we wanted to come back in and adjust this Gaussian blur, I would double click where it says Gaussian blur, and I could now bring my pixels down and say that's maybe better. Maybe I just want to soften this C, the line on the C a bit. So I could say, okay. So I could change it that way, or I could leave it very strong. But this time I could use my filter mask by selecting it, hitting B for the brush tool. And if you can see up here, I've adjusted my opacity is right down at 16%, flow at 37, just so that I can very softly brush out some of that blur. So I might not want it quite so blurry at the foreground, and I might want to bring back a bit of these birds, but I really want the rest left very soft. So I would just use my brush to change my filter mask, as you can see where I've been painting on the filter mask, just to make it blurry, very blurry where I want it very blurry, but be a bit more precise about where that blur goes. Okay, so that is the main ways and reasons that I use smart filters. I've got something else I just want to quickly show you that took me ages to realise. So let me just, let's go out to my computer. So what I'm going to show you does not apply if you have brought an image in from Lightroom. Because if you bring an image in from Lightroom, it will bring you straight here and it will plonk it down at the original with the padlock on it, which you just click to unlock. And then you can just carry on as we have here. However, if you have got an image on your computer, let's just grab this one, and you ask to open it in Photoshop, what it does is bring you straight into Camera Raw. As you can see, this panel is Camera Raw. If you now make changes to this image, let's just do a few. Let's just make it really super mad. Let's put a lot of colour on it so we can see what we've done. And you say open. Here's the problem. It's brought you into Photoshop, but it's baked in those changes with Camera Raw. So you have no filter. You cannot go back into Camera Raw. You can use Camera Raw, but you can't get back to how this image was before. There's no way back. I can't even Command Z. I'm hitting Command Z. You can't even step back. You have baked in those changes. Let's just get rid of that because we don't want it. So what I now do instead, if I'm coming in, let's just open one of these other mad images that I've done. It's photographing the sky here many times over because I love it for textures. So again, I've double clicked on it and it's brought me into Camera Raw. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm just going to say open. So now, just as if I'd come in from Lightroom, it's just brought me straight in. This is the background layer. There's a padlock on it. I will click the padlock to release it. I would now right click, convert to smart object, and then come up filter. And there is your Camera Raw filter. Make your changes. Let's do the same again. Okay. And this time you now have a filter mask. One final reason why it's worth having a smart object on your layer is if you make a lot of changes where you are going to be resizing. So I have just hit Command or Control T to transform. If you make this really, really teeny tiny, let it go, okay, and then decide, oh no, I didn't want to do that, and make it big again, because it's a smart object, you've protected the pixels. Had it not been a smart object, when you make it teeny tiny and expand it back again, you will lose pixels. So once again, you're protecting it by saying to Photoshop, please protect this, it's sunglasses on, it's temporary, I want to be able to take these sunglasses back off and everything to be just as it was. Okay, so that's smart objects, really useful. Always protect your images, and don't forget, if you're coming in from your computer rather than from Lightroom, it will bring you into Adobe Camera Raw on the way in, but it does it without making it a smart object. So just come straight in with making no adjustments, right click, convert to smart object, and then do your Camera Raw edits afterwards. Okay, so that's how you use smart objects. I hope that was really helpful. Have a great week and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye for now.